Hello, my name is Axel Yantosca, and I am going to be the instructor for the Rune divination course. And just a little bit about me and my background is that I have been a music teacher. I'm also a Norse heathen whose pet project as of late has been digging really deep into the runes. And so in doing so, I've decided to offer this course for other people. So our intentions of this course are to serve as kind of an introduction to the runes, so that we can understand kind of the common meanings and common interpretations, and so that people can successfully take omens when they use the runes. The required materials is going to be this book called Taking Up the Runes by Diana Paxson. And also you're going to want to have a set of runes as well. The way that this course works is that you will sign up for the course by sending an email and paying for the course through the Mountain Ancestors website. The course is $24 for the whole year. And if you don't have a copy of the book and you want us to mail you a copy or get you a copy, that's going to be an additional $30. And so the website will be www.mountainancestors.org. Through that, you can do the link on our PayPal. Just notate on the donation that it's for the class specifically. If you have any questions at all, you can email any of the leadership team. We'll be happy to help you out, sort you out, get that answered. And yes, the introduction of what the course is. Let me pull up my screen sharing. Here we go. There we are. So the Google Classroom looks like this. You'll get the code after you sign up and pay for the course. We've got like an introduction section here, which can tell you a lot about it. So there are optional rune rituals that are on here that we'll do at different times throughout the year. There's also a little meditation corner with all of our meditation stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then also like our monthly assignments and readings. So the first thing I want to talk about is we are going to be recording the classes, and they'll be shortly, we're going to upload some different kinds of consent forms so that you can be aware of what they're being used for and why we're doing this. It's really mainly twofold reason. One, because I'm a teacher and teachers like to watch themselves teach so that they can teach better in the future. The second is for the students' benefit, so that if you wanted to go over something that you talked about in class, but you couldn't quite remember what was said, like you can go back and rewatch the class sessions and obtain that information. Also, if somebody misses a class or can't make it or anything like that, you can watch a class that you didn't attend and get that same information. So that's why we're going to record it. It's not going to be available, across all of the interwebs. It's not like it's going all kinds of crazy places. It's just going to stay locally on the class pages. We have some other policies, which are basically the Mountain Ancestors diversity and inclusion policies. We're going to ask that people read through these and abide by them. That's kind of by doing this course, you're agreeing to follow these guidelines. They can be found on our website at mountainancestors.org, and also in the Google Classroom. I have copied and pasted them so that you can read them all in one convenient place if you would like. So the course structure, the way that this works is every month you're going to read a chapter, and then we're going to come to class. And this class will be held via Zoom. So people will basically just be able to come here, and they're going to be able to hear me. We're going to talk about the readings a little bit, then we're going to have a little discussion. And then occasionally, depending on which class is happening, there'll be sometimes a little in-class activity where we do kinds of different things that support what our reading was about that month. What you're going to do at home is we have these things called take-home assignments. Basically, they look like this. I'm going to go click on one, have it load. There we go. So it's basically going to have a little section where there is some sort of activity, and then there's going to be some sort of reflections that you'll write about. I'm not looking for dissertations or scholarly essays or anything crazy like that. It's just a little bit of ways to track your growth, essentially. So we've got this Rune journal, which it's going to have different kinds of things in it. So what it is it's an accounting of all the work we're doing together on this journey. So your take-home assignments will be in there. Any accounting of the meditations that you do. If you color the rune pages, because that's a way that you want to engage in some of the meditation practices, you'll just stick those in there as well. Any kind of reflections on activities that you've done, any of the rune rituals, you'll write a little reflection about them and put them in there. Any omens that you take, we're going to have you put them in there as well. So it's basically just a place where you're putting together all of your assignments and the things that you've done with this class in one little neat place so that you can, go through and see how you're progressing. And so those different kinds of things are rune rituals. We've got a couple of them. I think for the next class that we meet at, we're going to be doing the consecration ritual of the runes. So it's going to be super helpful for people to obtain a set of runes by then. There's a couple other ones that we're going to do throughout the year as well. I think my personal favorite is the automobile one because I drive my car everywhere, and I think that's a really useful thing to have that to do that blessing during a ritual. So those are rune rituals. That's one type of activity that we'll have you do on your own or in class. Some other things that we do are the meditations. With this, I've labeled everything via category. So there are 3 categories. There's novice, there's experienced, and advanced. So novice is going to be open to absolutely everyone. There are things that we can do. I believe in the next class, we're going to talk a little bit more about the single focus meditation specifically so that people can hit the ground running with that. And so the novice category is going to include things like the single focus, any Galder. It's going to be awareness meditation or mindfulness meditation. And also the guided meditations fall in that category. So those are going to be things everybody can do all the time. The experience category is going to be our guided trance stuff. And the advanced category is basically going to be straight up trance. The thing about the 2 other categories, that the experienced and the advanced, is we're going to ask that you've completed or concurrently taking the Mountain Ancestors Mental Discipline course before we engage in that material. And I've structured the class so that should you want to go that route, the trance stuff happens far enough into the future that you should be able to have completed the rest of the mental discipline before we get to that so that you can participate. That's going to be a separate class that is going to be offered in the next coming month or 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure. I've got to get with Jane and figure out the specifics of that, but we're going to have that available for people. So that's the rune meditations. If anybody has any questions, I am so happy to answer any of them. My email is going to be agyantosca@aol.com. I will take any questions, answer any questions that people may have about that. Rune activities are basically going to be either little activities or projects, like there might be some sort of like engage in a self-care practice as part of one of the runes. So you would do the thing and then you would write about the thing, and then that's how that would work. Or sometimes before we do the automobile blessing, you're going to make little charms or something so that you can put them in your car and like bless them. So like that's kind of what the rune activities are. So you'll want to do some stuff with that as well. basically as far as cost conscious things go, because I know some people don't want to pay a whole lot of money to do a whole bunch of like crazy things. This class is designed to engage you in any level at any place in your life. So if you want to go out and do all kinds of crazy, fun, expensive shrine building things, anything like that, like you're welcome to, like, do that. Also, if you're on a budget, that's okay too. Engage with the material at the level that your resources and time and things like that will allow. So it's basically something you can do as you are, which is one of the really cool things. I will personally be doing a lot of this. I'm going to do a lot of this course with you guys at the time. So I'm very invested in this as far as time goes. Lastly, nope, I don't want to do that. I clicked the wrong button. Stop that. And go back. Yes, scheduling. So it's come to my attention that occasionally the Sundays are going to conflict with other groves, high days and things like that. So we're going to try to see if we can get either an alternate section or have a designated makeup day on either a Thursday or Friday evening. So we've got a poll going on to see what people would prefer. It's basically going to be at like 7 p.m. on either of those days, kind of depending on what the results are. So if when you sign up for the course, please definitely vote so that we can kind of get those things ironed out, so that even if you can't make it, you can still access the material in a way that's really good for you. And I think that's that. So this is kind of the thing. The other thing is there, for people that are local to Colorado and or Wyoming, because Wyoming is still pretty close to us, we're going to try to go for some local meetups occasionally throughout the year to do things like a game night or a camping trip. And I'm really personally really excited about hosting a Assemble. So fingers crossed that basically I've got some things here where people can like comment either on days that I've suggested or availability, so we can kind of schedule that if we want to, because I really love online courses, and I also want to offer like meeting up in person to do things related to this class if people are willing and able. So I think that about wraps up the course. Are there any pressing questions that need answering? I'm going to stop share now. Here we go. Are there any questions that people might have, complaints, comments, anything?
What should we have read for the first class?
Yes, that is an excellent question, President. So in this, there is the first chapter and the second chapter. I believe it's pages 1 through 46 of Taking Up the Runes. That will get you through the first 2 runes that we're going to do, so that you have something intelligent to say when we talk about it. Any more awesome questions? That was a great question. Thank you.
So what are your suggestions or plans for consecrating your runes?
Can you clarify just a little bit?
So folks have mentioned in the past the notion of blessing them. Some folks blood them, and that's kind of come up as whether or not it's okay to use blood in these types of ceremonies.
Of course, that is an excellent question as well. So I love this question. So because I'm an ADF person, I have to say that usually blood and ADF rites is kind of a no-go. However, it does not matter. These are your runes. However you want to bless them is the way that you should go. So if you want to consecrate them with blood, like your own blood, not please don't kill things and sacrifice them. Your own blood, do that. It's great. I personally have done that with my own set. I advocate, as well. Yeah, so I advocate for it. Some people, that's not going to be their thing, and pure water or sometimes mead is also appropriate.
There are lots of folks who have. So from an official ish standpoint. Blood magic is okay. A lot of women participate in blood magic. The thing is that it has to be your blood. So please don't kill anything and think that that's going to work. The idea is to tie this symbol set to you directly, which is why you use your own blood to mark the items. But there's nothing against, bloodletting yourself. Some people don't like to do it in public rituals because it is off-putting to the folk. But the official ADF stance is not to kill anything. There's no rule about using your own blood to mark things.
And as far as how does one acquire a rune set? So you can, there are kind of two routes you can go. You can buy them, or you can make them yourself. And in the buy them route, you can go pretty much to any of your local, what are they called? Like little pagan shops. They have a specific kind of name. I don't know.
Any of the new age shops?
Yes. A lot of those will have.
Wherever you buy your pagany wares.
Also, plug for the Magical Druid, because they have some really awesome ethical stuff in their shop. I highly recommend them. I have a set from them. Awesome. Also, yes, you can even get them at places like Barnes and Noble. Like they exist. You just have to kind of look around and find what is good for you. If you want to go the make it route, you can, it's fairly simple, hard process, but simple. You can, cut some wood, 24 pieces, and you can paint them. You can etch them or carve them, or however you would like to do that. You could also use 24 little stones or something like that, like antler, if you have ethically sourced antler.
One thing that other people have done in the past is to use clay, something like terracotta, something that you can easily bake at home in your own oven. And that's something that you can carve runes in or paint them on later. So there are a lot of cost-effective options and low labor-intensive options.
Yeah, you can use Sculpey too.
So there are definitely options that, the cost may be lower if you make them yourself, but you're paying more in time. So it's kind of about how you want to go about it, what feels right for you personally, what you want to do with that. So that's one of the ways you can come by a set of runes, I say.
I would also like to just throw out that there is no difference in buying runes and making runes in the sacrality and the ability of you to connect and use these as a tool for divination. Both options are acceptable and will work. The tech works. Doesn't matter where you get them. The tech works. So,
yeah, the tech doesn't work if you don't have the tech.
Right.
So, yeah, that's an awesome point. Thank you, Missy. Any other questions? I love questions. Questions are my favorite. Well, if there are no further questions, we are going to end this meeting. Thank you all for joining me, and I can't wait to see you guys in a month. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.